Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpru.com.
Good evening, everybody. This is Andrew Frazier, and welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05 every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm excited to really get a chance to talk small business. As a small business owner, as a small business coach, consultant, definitely get a chance to learn a lot of things, and I'm always looking to learn more. And that's why we have the show, so that we can share valuable insights with business owners like you. But not only that, to be able to connect with experts in different areas and learn about key things that are going on in business that can help you as a small business owner grow and be more successful. Tonight is like other nights, but different in that, we have a special topic tonight. I think you saw the topic's killer digital marketing tips from the Profit Producer. Very excited about talking with the Profit Producer this evening and hearing some of his tips and sharing some of the tips. He does some of my digital marketing and does a great job with it. And I've learned so much from talking to him, working with him, understanding really what digital marketing is all about and how you do it the right way. Because there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And also, there's digital marketing and social media just to be social and live. And then there's digital marketing and social media that can drive your business. And it's not always the same. So that's why he's called the Profit Producer, because he focuses on digital marketing that can help your business grow and help you make more money. So who am I talking about? Who is this Profit Producer? The Profit Producer is Jimmy Newson. He is the Profit Producer digital marketing strategist. And really Jimmy's founder of his own consulting firm. He works with a lot of businesses on their digital marketing, but even beyond that, he is a leader at the New York Marketing Association. He's certified in a lot of key online tools, especially SEMrush, which is really the ultimate tool if you're doing digital marketing. And we're going to talk about some of the key things that he's able to do with him tonight. Feel free to ask questions, put them in the chat, and, let's get started. So, hey, Jimmy, how are you doing today? How's everything going? Welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me on, and everything is going well. Unfortunately, with everything going on out there, it's going well. For business, for me, for a lot of my clients, and my objective is always to figure out how I can make it go better.
Of course, that's what business is all about. And you've been doing some really exciting stuff and really getting some great opportunities to really showcase what you've learned and, help businesses be more successful. But before we get into all that, you've had an interesting path in life and to get you where you are, that's really helped to prepare you, even though at the time you didn't really know what it was preparing you for. So you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got here, and where you're going from here.
Sure, sure. So I'm not very good at talking about myself, so I'm going to do my best. I remember my first entrepreneur experience. I think I was in the seventh grade, and all I know is I realized everybody was hungry around second period, and we couldn't eat anything till about lunchtime, which is probably after third period. So for some strange reason, I bought a bunch of candy from this store down the street and started bringing it into the school, hiding it in my bag. And by the end of second period, I was out of candy and I actually had money in my pocket. And I was like, ooh, I like this. And I don't know how old I was at 7, but I was probably pretty young. And so I would do that almost every day. I was very smart about it because, of course, the teachers don't want you eating candy until other people caught wind. We call those people competition. And then they just came in and ruined it for everybody. So that was my first step at entrepreneurship. And next thing you know, a couple of years later, I started carrying a briefcase. And I just liked carrying a briefcase. There was absolutely nothing in this briefcase, but I just liked the look of feeling important, being business oriented, even though I had no business at all. And I found it difficult as I was going through even my 20s to have a regular job because I just wanted to do things beyond that job. So I guess I was born to be an entrepreneur, born to be somebody that goes out there and takes these risks and creating these opportunities. Fast forward a few more years, I spent a lot of years in the music industry, owned a recording studio, did some traveling around the world. I was on the Grammys committee. I started being able to get into situations that I didn't realize I could get into. And I think that just opened up, when you look at that, you end up, when you can see things for the first time, you realize that they're possible. And I think that's where people sometimes fall short when when you see it, you believe it. So I got an opportunity to be around people that were doing amazing things, which made me realize that if they can do it, I can do it. And then now I'm at a point where, I'm having phone conversations around, digital marketing and small business development beyond digital marketing. Like you mentioned, just last week, I had a phone call with the NBA, who's working on a deal with Walmart. I never would have thought I'd be in a conversation like that, but it's they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And you just always have to be on your grind. You don't necessarily want to work 14 hours a day, but I do. But the key at that point, the transition is to work smarter, not harder. So I'm in that transition now where, I'm bringing on more people on my team. And now I'm just focusing on bigger and better opportunities, like working with the New York Marketing Association, working with a lot of other national nonprofits and speaking more and being on shows like yours. So I thank you. So even I chose digital marketing because digital marketing is such a powerful tool for any business, doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing.
Okay, excellent. And, you've done some great things, exciting just hearing about all the great things that you've done. So living a little vicariously through you and, really even before the pandemic, digital marketing was becoming more and more important. But with the pandemic, it's even gone to a whole new level because that's where everybody is, and that's the best way to reach people. So, talk a little bit about where it started, and before the pandemic, what it was like, and how it's changed since the pandemic.
Sure. And that's a great question. So, before the pandemic, you've got companies that get it and they're ready to get on, and they're online and they're doing very well. And this is a longevity game. So if you got into the game at 2012, 2013, you're doing pretty good if you did some of the right things. If you're coming into the game now, it's easy to get discouraged because, you know, the competition is really crushing it out there. And then, and what you have to do is realize that they were in the same position that you were back then. So it's never too late to get in the game. So before the pandemic, you know, I would have calls with potential clients, and some of them are ready to pull the trigger. Some of them are not. Some of them are really about, hey, I don't really need to do this. My word of mouth is so fantastic. You know, I can eat off of that. And now you look at after the pandemic, you can't go into certain buildings. You can't get together over a certain amount of people. You know, foot traffic in general across the board just stopped. You know, I'm in my office, but I'm the only one in my office probably 98% of the time at this point. And so if you're not online now, you're really invisible. You know, you look at how people's habits have changed. I was distraught when Toys R Us went out of business because I like going to Toys R Us and buying toys. But you ask me that now, I'd rather go online and I buy everything for my daughter online. I didn't have to get out of my seat. I didn't have to change out of my pajamas. Now I heard a guy say, I don't remember who it was, but he goes, the pandemic advanced everybody 5 years when it comes to digital marketing. What would have taken 5 years for people to migrate the way they should have had to be done in 1 year. And so you have to start looking at this whole digital landscape as an opportunity, especially as a small business owner, because as a small business owner, this is the way you compete with bigger brands. This is the way you compete with stronger brands. You know, you need to have a very strong digital presence and you need to look good. And you need to, and it's easier to do now than it ever was before.
Yeah, definitely. Given where things are as a small business owner, you have an opportunity to compete on a scale that you never could before.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, opportunities where, preparation meets opportunity or successes. And, you have the opportunity, but if you're not prepared and you don't understand what to do, then you're not going to achieve the success and opportunity. And a really big thing about it is, number one, you have to be proactive. And these are the same things you need to do during the pandemic to make things work. So being proactive, being creative, and being flexible. And we're going to talk more about that. How do you use digital marketing as a small business to really be able to compete more effectively? So we're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to welcome everybody who's on the line. We're going to have a great show tonight. Make sure you put your questions in the chat. And, welcome Karen Denton out of Pittsburgh, Timothy Johnson, Marcella, Janine, and others. And, look forward to having a great show here with Jimmy Newson, the producer. So we're going to come back to Jimmy in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to introduce you to the Small Business Pro University, which we produce this show out of Small Business University, and it's a valuable resource for entrepreneurs and business owners like you. Do you own your business or does it own you? Are you having cash flow issues or do you need financing? Is your business growing and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. You must continually increase your knowledge, even though it is difficult to find a comprehensive, quality source of information that is readily available. Do you own your business or does it own you? Are you having cash flow issues or do you need financing? Is your business growing? Okay, well, having a little technical difficulties, so we'll come back to that. But we'll talk a little bit more about the Small Business Pro University and Jimmy Newson, who actually has a course on the Small Business Pro University and shares some of his expertise and wisdom through there as well. So let's take a look. You talked about how digital marketing can be helpful for entrepreneurs and business owners. But before we go to that, let's talk about, what is digital marketing? you know what it is. I know some about what it is, but it took me a while to learn it, and I still don't fully understand it. So, can you just walk people through a little bit, like what is digital marketing, and how should they be thinking about it?
Yeah. Digital marketing is there's two ways to look at digital marketing. So I'm going to give you two terms. One is digital marketing. The other is inbound marketing. Okay. So we're going to start with digital marketing first. Digital marketing is really about leveraging digital channels to market your business. It's really that simple. So anything that's online, and any type of assets you have, like an ebook or ads or graphics and things like that, that's online, and you're communicating with others online, is digital marketing. Email, if you're sending emails out to people and it's in a business setting, that's to a degree digital marketing. So it's all this online interaction that you're doing. The key here is to classify it properly, to define what it is, whether it's SEO or related to your website, or paid ads, online reputation management, lead generation. All these elements or various types of digital marketing strategies. Excuse me. I am myself, I'm an inbound marketing specialist, an expert. And inbound marketing takes all of these things: your website, social media, Google Ads, reputation management, local SEO, landing pages, call to actions, email marketing. It takes all this stuff and puts it into a kind of like what we call a system or a foundation or structure. And from there, we're able to kind of see, what we should be doing based on where we are in our business. What resources do we have available to us? That could be assets, like I said, like your website or landing pages or ebooks. It could be financial. How much revenue are you bringing in? How much money do you have to spend on things like a website redesign or ads or to optimize your website for SEO? So the digital marketing side is a huge component. There's a lot of components within the digital marketing sphere. And then you take what we call the inbound marketing and you use that to bring people to you. So inbound marketing is about using the right content and putting it in front of the right person at the right time. And that can only be done through digital marketing strategies. So we can dive into either or. It can get a little messy. But at the end of the day, if we figure out where we are and where we want to go, we can usually figure out a nice path for that.
Okay. No, that's great. And I know you had sort of put something together today to really bring the point home, and really laid out 6 key things that we're going to talk about this evening. So I'm just going to put them on the screen real quick, and then if you want to talk to them, that would be great.
Sure. So today, when we talk about the killer things that you can do, they're really around, there's a few more, but these are your top ones that really help move the needle for digital marketing. And like I said, and this goes back to the word profit producer. The key is you can be doing these things, but at the end of the day, we want to figure out how do we tie them to some type of revenue. And sometimes it's easier said than done. And that's because one sometimes will have to sit on top of the other. It's not local SEO alone won't do it. Web design alone won't do it. Organic SEO alone won't do it. It'll do a lot, but you need all these other things. So let's say someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to hire you to do social media. And I'll go, okay, great. And I'll go, where are we driving the traffic to? And they just go, I just want you to do some posts. Well, why? And I want you to get me more likes. Likes don't mean anything to me. I'm like, if you can't get those people off of social media and into your system, you do not own them. And so this is where we look at, like I said, local SEO, web design, organic SEO, social media, Google Ads, and reputation management. And reputation management is a closer. And what I mean by a closer is it's at the bottom of the funnel. People want to know about you when they're ready to try to make a decision on if they want to use you. And that's where reputation management comes in. And so how do you leverage reputation management? Well, they're just straight up testimonials. It could be text-based online testimonials, video testimonials, audio testimonials. So they can live anywhere. They can live on your website. They can live on landing pages. Everybody on this call should have, if you own a business, should have a Google My Business listing. And you can ask for reviews on that alone. And that would be very, very powerful to show other people that other people like you and they like your products and they like your services. So all these things independently become important, but collectively become very strong in building a really solid foundation for your overall digital marketing strategy.
Okay. So definitely it's a coordinated effort. You're saying
Yes.
You can't really just do one thing at a time.
Well, let me pause you a second. And I don't want to scare anybody. You can start with one thing. The key is to grow into some other things. And so go ahead. I just want to throw that in there.
No, that's a good point. And the other thing you said is you're not going to do this overnight. It's a longer term strategy. So, as a small business owner, you have to have vision and perspective on and planning and a strategy for your business, which I always advocate. Without a plan, you're planning to fail. And especially if you're going to compete nowadays in the digital arena, you have to have a plan and a strategy that has some time to really be able to implement it successfully. And that's what we're really talking about. So, there's a lot of different things that you do, and one thing that we started out doing. I've done some of my social media. I have a website, but what we started doing is some paid ads, automation, newsletters, email marketing. So if someone's just starting out, where should they start? What should they do first?
Okay, and this is a bit of a tricky question. At the end of the day, the foundation of your digital marketing strategy is your website. Now, I have a client today that just moved over to a different service. We started out, we built an initial website for him, let's say, 6 months, 8 months ago, and he didn't really have anything. So today he switched over to SEO. He could have went ads, and this is where you want to look at your goals. And so this goes back before we even talk about digital marketing, where we talk about what are your goals, what are your long-term goals, what are your short-term goals, business and marketing. Okay, so 1 year, 3 months, and those kind of give you an idea of if your goals are to generate a certain amount of money, then the question is, do you have any leads in the pipeline? If you don't have any leads in the pipeline, then it's a different strategy than you do have leads in the pipeline and they're hot, they're warm or hot leads. So you really have to take an assessment of where you are and what you're trying to do. But if we had to start somewhere, I would look at the website, because whether you have one or not, if you don't have one, then of course you need one. If you do have one, the question is it good enough? And when I say, is it good enough, is it a glorified business card, or is it a tool that you can use to convert a prospect to a lead and then a lead to a customer? And if it can't do that second part, then your next step is to fix that and then move into to something that drives. And this is where SEO, this is where let's go back to the social media conversation, where if I'm going, all right, I'm going to post on social media on the behalf of your company, I need to drive that traffic somewhere that they can take action. So is it a specific page on your website? Are you using landing pages? Is there an offer that they can take on? Because you shouldn't be posting or doing videos unless there's a purpose and there's an action that can be taken upon based on that purpose. So website at the end of the day is my first goal. If it's long-term, the second thing would be some form of SEO, because SEO is such a strong foundation that if you do it right from the beginning, it may take 6 months. It could take up to a year for you to really start to get that snowball effect with SEO. But the beautiful thing about SEO is the value of the amount of the SEO goes up. The stock goes up. Now, if you look at paid ads, if your objective is just to get new leads in because you don't have any, then you go paid ads. And the paid ad side is great for trying to generate immediate interaction with your brand. But the problem with ads is once you turn the ad off, everything stops because you haven't really built up anything. You're just putting it out in front of people at the time they need it, and then you turned off the faucet. So you really have to assess, where am I? I always say website first. If we can do an SEO strategy, and you can afford to pay a little bit, go for it. But if you're looking for immediate ads, if you're looking for immediate gratification, a sale, you got a hot product and that product can be positioned very well, then yeah, of course you could possibly make some sales. You just got to be very strategic, not only from the standpoint of being driving the traffic to the website, getting the conversion, but on the other side, getting what does it take to close that client? Do you have to get on the phone with them? Do you have to interact with them in any way to get them to say yes?
Okay, definitely. And one thing that it's important to understand is digital marketing is part of marketing. So, it's not the end all and be all of marketing. It's a piece of your marketing strategy. And depending on who your target market is, what your product or service is, that piece may be larger or smaller. But it's important to understand that before you really dig into it, you have to figure out, is that the right strategy for my business given who I'm trying to sell to? And really, just like with marketing in general, figuring out how to reach the right people with the right message at the right time. And digital marketing gives you a lot more tools to be able to do that. But combining it with traditional marketing tools as well can be beneficial for most businesses.
Yeah. And if I could touch on that real quick, that would be great, because I'm a huge advocate of a hybrid marketing strategy. You should definitely use a multi-channel approach, which includes, if you're starting out, if you have little to no money to invest in marketing, digital marketing is a safe way to go. The reason why, and I love digital marketing, because everything, at least most to almost everything, is trackable. Okay. So, there's that old saying, 50% of my marketing is working. I just don't know what 50% it is. Well, that's not necessarily true with digital. So do I leverage off traditional marketing? Yes, I do. But, I leverage partnerships. Those are huge marketing opportunities for me. And it could be a software company that aligns with the same target audience that I work with. I leverage, at the time, live events, but we're not doing those at the moment. And that's when you have to make sure you have both sides of the coin. If the internet was to go away tomorrow, we need that offline component. If the offline component gets taken out of our hand, we need that online component. But you have to be doing a combination of the both. Flyers, you could be doing mailers, you could be doing so many other things. But at the end of the day, you need, if you haven't taken that opportunity, you need to put a lot of stock into the online world, because a lot of business got hurt really bad because they didn't have a lot of stock in online digital strategies. And so when their foot traffic stopped and everything stopped, they didn't know where to turn.
Okay, that's a great point. Really having strategies that complement each other and allow you to effectively operate in any business environment. So this is very exciting and important for people to understand what we're talking about. So we're going to go into more detail about that and really take the direction of the show a little bit more into, okay, digging in, what are some of the things you mentioned that you can track and, understand what's going on with your marketing, unlike many other strategies where you just have to, see what works and see what doesn't. and not really know at the end of the day what really worked. So, we definitely want to do that. We're going to take a break real quick, share a little bit about the Masterpreneur Club for entrepreneurs and business owners. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. And, we'll see you on the other side, really going into a little bit more detail about how Jimmy is able to help people and how you can look at using digital marketing strategies to grow your business.
Is your business growing, and are you making enough money? If not, you need to join the Masterpreneur Club. The Masterpreneur Club is a community of business owners like you who are focused on growth and making more money. They follow the Masterpreneur Playbook developed by Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO. A proven 5-step business growth plan for creating a sustainable enterprise that can run without you. What exactly is the Masterpreneur Club and why should I join? The Masterpreneur Club is a membership component of the Small Business Pro University that features the opportunity to experience valuable multimedia mini courses and training opportunities, participate in virtual roundtable, group coaching, and knowledge-sharing discussions, access to a powerful network of experienced entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders. We are committed to your success and want to make it affordable to any business owner seeking to accelerate their growth. Don't hesitate. Visit www.masterpreneurclub.com to join the Masterpreneur Club right now.
Welcome back to Leadership Live at 805. I'm here with Jimmy Newson, the profit producer, and we're talking about killer digital marketing strategy that you can put to work within your business. So, Jimmy, we're going to talk a little bit about a little bit more detail, but also as we go towards the end of the show, we're going to have an offer for people to learn a little bit more about where they are and where they may want to go in terms of their digital marketing strategies. But, one thing that we worked on that I really didn't appreciate and understand was how SEO really works.
Okay.
And, I think that would be really helpful because a lot of people may not really be doing it right, even the so-called experts.
Right. Yeah. So SEO, to me, is the foundation. If the website is the house, the SEO is the foundation of the house. Let's just put it that way. So you start looking at the house that you want, and now you got to figure out the foundation. So it kind of works. It doesn't kind of work. But at the end of the day, let's just, from an SEO standpoint, the objective is to be found when people are searching. At the end of the day, most people spend a lot of time searching for things. They need something. If it's not a recommendation, they go online. They ask Siri or any of those other Alexa, for a recommendation about something, a topic, an idea, and those topics and those ideas start in one of the 3 phases of the buyer's journey. It's either an awareness-based inquiry, it's a consideration, middle of the funnel, or a decision at the bottom of the funnel. So the question is, how do you place content in one of those 3 sections? So you need to do some research and understand. So SEO starts with keyword research. The more you understand the keywords that you should be using to get people to find you, the more your SEO is going to work for you. And so what do I mean? So if you're a lawyer, if you're a lawyer, what type of a lawyer are you? Because a lawyer as a keyword is too broad. So maybe you're a divorce attorney. Maybe you're an accident attorney. Maybe you're a maritime attorney. I had a maritime attorney when I was working at an agency. If anybody knows what maritime law is, it's about sea. It's about the ocean and boats and all that craziness. When you can be clear on what industry or niche you're in, you can also look at what products and services do I offer, and you can put keywords around those. But more importantly, I look for keywords around the problems you solve, the goals you help people achieve, because people don't usually type in a product or service. They'll type in a problem or a goal they're trying to achieve, and you need to create content and optimize your website to show up when people have these type of searches. It's the intent. And when you're able to do that, it's called free traffic. Now, just as a disclaimer, there is no such thing as free. Everything costs. But as you build your SEO, the value of the SEO, you may pay the same price. And that price could be an agency or a freelancer, or if you're doing it yourself, you're paying yourself. But the value of that SEO does this. And the beautiful thing about SEO is it doesn't come back down unless you do what we call black hat stuff that's not really allowed in SEO. So the value should always continue to rise when you're doing SEO versus paid ads where you're putting money in and you're getting something out. You're putting money in, you're getting something out. You stop spending the money, everything drops. You built no rapport. You built no, Google doesn't reward you for running ads. They just take your money. Okay. But they will reward you for creating great content that answers people's queries, answers people's questions. And that's what SEO does to a degree with blogs and putting out the right type of content that is optimized properly. So you want to optimize this content. So you can optimize your traditional pages. When I say traditional pages, I'm talking about your homepage, your product pages, your about page can be optimized. Your about page is optimized for your business. Your about page is optimized for you, or it could be optimized for your team members. The more, I always say, if you have 6 services that you offer in your business, one of the worst things you can do is put all 6 services on a single page. Why? Because Google looks at the page and determines what is the topic of the page and how can I serve this page up when there's an inquiry that I think matches it. Now, if you put 6 different services on that page has no true definition. What I always say is you got to break those up. Each one of those services deserves its own page. Now you've created 6 different opportunities for someone to interact with your brand because each page is optimized specifically for that one single service. Every single page on your website has a purpose. Let it live, let it grow up and be strong and do some great stuff in the world, which of course is to deliver some services or some products that make people's lives easier, happier, and more enjoyable. So that's just kind of one aspect of how we look at SEO. I can't hear you, Andrew.
Sorry about that. So You're saying that your website should eat its Wheaties so it can grow strong.
Yes, it needs to grow up and go out there and it's like kids. You want them to grow up and make you and one day take care of you.
Okay, excellent. So, one thing that you talked about was keywords. Okay,
yep. Mm-hmm.
And all this stuff is like second nature to you,
right?
But for us mere mortals, mm-hmm. It's kind of new. I mean, I've known what a keyword is, sort mm-hmm. of, but I have a new appreciation for it because a keyword's not just putting a pound sign in front of a word that you think is a good word. There's a lot more to doing it right.
Yep.
And, going through the process with you and, what does it mean to do it right? Because I think, we went through the process and found that most of my keywords were terrible. And so tell us a little bit about kind of how you get a good keyword.
And it's a process. And at the end of the day, you really have to do what we call keyword research. You can think something is good, and that's most businesses will go, okay, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this. Let's go ahead and do it. They do it, and then they put it out. And that is what we call creating in a vacuum. You need input. You need other sources of input to help steer you in the right direction. You can look at 2 different keywords, and 2 different keywords. This is an example of 2 different keywords that are similar. Lawyer in New York and New York lawyer. 2 different keywords, same meaning, but depending on which one you use, one could be cheaper than the other when it comes to ads. One can get more search than the other. And when you determine and when you do your keyword research, you realize wow, I thought this was a great keyword, but this other keyword is even better and could get me more exposure. Now, of course, we're really jumping ahead of a lot of things that have to be considered in regards to, how strong is your domain? How much traffic do you currently have? How much does Google like your website now? You're not going to rank for a lot of keywords if you have no authority and you've never done this. You will eventually, but that's where the time comes in, where you have to put in your time and your due diligence to do that. But you still need to figure out the right keywords from the very beginning, so you can go, okay, these are the keywords that we're going to go after. And like I said, your keywords are based on, some aspect of your products, some aspect of your service. When I start working with a new client, I'll ask them, give me some top keywords that you want to rank for. Some of them get it, some of them don't. So then I'll switch the question and go, what do you sell? I'll ask ask yourself these questions. What do you sell? Who do you sell them to? And how does it help them? And the how does it help them is really important, because that's how people search. I need to know how to. I want to know what is, and when you're able to, and let's just take shoes, for example. So you can optimize your website for specific types of shoes, but those shoes may not have a lot of search on the keyword of that shoe. But you might optimize some level of the shoe in regards to running shoes, better running shoes, the best type of running shoes for 2021. Now, you don't mention the brand, you mention the activity of someone running. Now, there's obviously a lot more search on the keyword running shoes, or how to take the proper run, and not damage your shins. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But when you create content like that, you're reaching a bigger audience of people that are searching a little bit more generically. But at the same time, if they're searching for running shoes, that they're probably in the market to potentially buy a pair of new running shoes, because they're interested in going, look, I want to start running, or the shoes I'm working hurt my shins, and I really think I need to find better shoes. Now you can create content around that helps them understand how better shoes can work for them. And then you position your product as a potential solution to that query. And that's where you connect information, education, edutainment with a product or service, because the alignment is perfect. So that's the profit or the ROI side of trying to create great content that leads to a product. If you are writing content around, say, keywords, and you don't have a product to serve for that, you shouldn't be writing that content. You shouldn't be focusing on those keywords. That's why I always say you want to focus on keywords that could lead to a sale of a product or service. So we can look at your product and services and start there for keyword research.
Okay, no, that's very important. And one of the key things, just with your strategy, is alignment. Everything needs to be aligned and consistent in the right direction. Mm-hmm. One thing that I found, working with you, is it's a lot of work to do it right. It's not like a little bit of work, and it's not stuff that you're just going to figure out on your own. You definitely learn as much as you can. Check out. There's a lot of online stuff, but to do it right, eventually you're going to need some help. Content seems to be more important than anything else, is creating the right content and mm-hmm. preparing to do digital marketing as opposed to actually doing it. And, would you say that's the case, and why? And, how do you focus on helping people do that successfully?
Well, there's actually two types of SEO you can do. There's organic SEO and there's local SEO. Local SEO is actually easier, and you can get results faster. And that's because, you can focus on some very specific things like what we call citations, or NAPS, which stands for name, address, phone number. Local SEO is about, there's this thing on Google. If you do a search on Google, there's a box that shows up. Depending on the type of search, Google determines, is this a local search or is this an organic search? So if I typed in pizza, Google's immediately going to say he's looking to go to get a pizza. So that's a local search. So he's looking to go somewhere. If I type in t-shirts, I might get a local, but if I type in something like the coolest t-shirts, then it might be more organic. And it's going to show me some great t-shirt places that give me great t-shirt designs. And that's where the intent of the search is. So if you have a brick and mortar business, then you should be doing local SEO, at least starting out, because this is a great way of beating out organic national competitors, because Google will put the top 3 local searches above the organic, which give you a chance to get above the big guys, so you want to optimize for that. The organic search is more for your blog posts, things like that are more informational, that can give you a lot more insight on a topic or a subject. And then that person can then make a decision on what they should do next. What you should have done in your blog post is given them a next step. I see this a lot where you'll have a great article, and you get to the end of the article and it just ends. No call to action, no link to another blog that's related to the blog they were just on. All these things help to increase the activity on the website itself. And when you can increase the amount of time someone stays on the website, the amount of time someone stays on a particular page. Google looks at that as, okay, we gave them the right information, so I can serve this page up more. There are so many different signals that you have to look at. And it's difficult to look at them all unless you're using specific tools. Now, when we talk about how do we figure these things out, well, there are tools out there that can really help you. You mentioned the one that I love the most, which is SEMrush, because I call it the Swiss Army knife. You can do anything with this tool, but there are other tools as well that are free, like Google's Keyword Planner. Is a great tool to try to figure out keywords. And you hit the nail on the head, Andrew, when you said, look, it gets hard and you might have to hire a professional. At the end of the day, you got 2 things you want to think about. One is you don't necessarily have to hire a guy like me. It might be too expensive. You might bring on an intern, or you might bring on someone from like Fiverr or Upwork that is a lot cheaper, but can work more with your budget. But the difference is you have to be educated enough to make sure that you're telling them the right things to do, and then they're delivering what you're asking them to deliver. So it's always still good to take some type of digital marketing course. I know, Andrew, you have some in the university. Take them more so you understand it and you can speak the language. Because I'll tell you right now, digital marketing is not going away. It's only going to become more complicated, and it's only as complicated as the fact that you don't understand it. So when you start, believe me, when I first started, I was a bit lost. I came from entertainment, went into video production, then went into marketing, and then went specialized in digital marketing, because I realized how powerful that ability to know that stuff was. Marketing moves the needle. And so it's almost like a license to print money if you're able to do it right.
Okay. Printing money is a good thing if you're in business. So that's why we're talking about this, because if you get this right, the sky's the limit. And even as a small business, you can compete with larger businesses if you do this right. So, that's one of the things, of course, there's so much involved in it. So we're just like scratching the surface. But what we want to do is at least introduce you to it, help you understand a little bit more about it, and some things that you can learn. Now, you do great things, but there's other people online who share valuable information about it. Who else would be good for people to follow or learn from about digital marketing?
Sure. You have there's a guy named Neil Patel, and he's he's my competition. Like everybody has competition. It just depends on how far up are you looking. And so Neil Patel is a great guy. There's another girl, like I remember her name. Her name is I can see her face. Rachel, I follow her a lot. She's in social media. She actually just did something really cool where she's giving away one of her courses. What is her name? Rachel Peterson is great. Oh, you can look up Digital Marketer. Digital Marketer is great. It's run by a guy named Ryan Dice. You got the ClickFunnels guy, Russell Brunson. And I know this is being recorded, so you guys can watch it again and get some of these names. He does a lot with sales funnels, which we didn't even get into, around lead generation. And the list goes on. There's just so many. I mean, you got Search Engine Journal. You've got Digital Marketing World Forum. You can do, and of course you got, I don't know how many courses you have, Andrew, and you're in Small Business Pro University, but there's a lot of great opportunity, even great blog posts. You just got to, and it's the same thing. You're doing a search, then you're going to read, and then you're going to make a decision. Now, if that company didn't have that content available, that company is officially invisible to you. So now you're seeing who's doing it right. And if you hear about a company and you can't find anything on them, well, they're not doing it right.
Good point. And, it's important. There's a lot of people out there doing it. So, we're going to talk a little bit more about it. We're going to have an offer from Jimmy to let you know about some ways that he can help you get your digital marketing jump started and sort of see where you are with it. But before we do that, one thing that we worked on together is my Masterpreneur Playbook Summary, which is really a valuable piece of information. It's a 5-step business growth plan that'll help you go from startup to scaling. And, we created that as our lead magnet and then followed it up with marketing automation. So let me just show you a little bit about what that is. And, if you don't have it yet, something you may want to check out. But here's a little bit on the Masterpreneur Playbook.
The best sports teams have a proven playbook. Everyone should have one. We've got one for you. Because there are so many things you need to know as a business owner. As a result, it is easy to get confused or stuck, since your business can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. It is also unnecessarily stressful, risky, and lonely when you're not confident in your decisions. Many business owners work longer and harder for less money than if they had a job, because they are on the wrong path.
Break that cycle with the Masterpreneur Playbook, a 5-step business growth plan that addresses the challenges that business owners face going from working in their business to working on their business. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Masterpreneur Playbook for you. The Masterpreneur Playbook incorporates proven strategies for successfully growing your business that I discovered during my personal journey as a manager, executive, board member, investor, business coach, consultant, trainer, and small business owner. For example, the Masterpreneur Playbook helped Miani to go from working in her business to working on her business. She learned to analyze her financials, identifying opportunities to improve cash flow and run her business more effectively. She also put together a financing package that got her access to capital. In addition, she developed a strategic plan that got her team fired up and led to her business growing.
I had my first strategic planning meeting with my staff yesterday. I rolled out the plan that Andrew and I had developed. They were fired up. I was fired up. I was like, it's not just me with the mission. There's all of these people. We're all on the same page. Let's go, you know? So I felt really good about that.
Also, the Masterpreneur Playbook helped Paul to go from working on his business to working on the future of his business. Paul was able to restructure his organization, implement new processes and procedures, and create a strong leadership team, giving him the bandwidth to focus on planning for future growth opportunities.
I got to say, I'm glad I trusted you with your plan because I like the plan. But we are, there's no guarantees, and it is a journey, but we're getting there, and we're making real solid progress. And I'm very pleased with where we are right now, where we're positioned, and where we're going.
Is there any reason you wouldn't want to accelerate the growth of your business, make more money, and have more free time? Of course you would. Don't hesitate. Visit www.sbprou.com to download a complimentary copy of the Masterpreneur Playbook today. That's right. For a limited time, you can download a complimentary copy of the Masterpreneur Playbook at www.sbprou.com.
Okay, great. So I encourage you to download the Masterpreneur Playbook, not just because it's a valuable resource for you, but it's a piece of the digital marketing strategy that I work on with Jimmy, and you can sort of see it in action. I put a link in the chat as well to check it out, and encourage you to do that. So Jimmy, we're coming up towards the top of the hour, but want you to sort of share a few key things that you think every business owner needs to know about digital marketing.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is your foundation solid? And when I say your foundation, I'm talking about your website, and I'm also talking about when is the last time you've updated any of the information around your website. This could be your own bio, your achievements, the achievements of the organization. Is all that current? Or your products and services that are on the page, are they up to date? So really take assessment and look at what's already out there. If everything is well, then you need to start looking at, adding some level of digital marketing to your overall marketing strategy if you haven't done so. So do an assessment and figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, and then start making a plan to take that next step and move the needle in the right direction. So that would be the best advice for me.
Okay, no, that's great. So definitely, it's important to get started, start learning, start trying things. When I talk about business, your most important job is marketing and selling, and you should be spending time every day doing that. But not only that, if that's your most important job, wouldn't it make sense to learn how to do it better? And that's what this is all about, learning more about how to market your business more successfully, whether it's digital marketing, traditional marketing, a combination of the two. And that's really what we're here today. But digital marketing for a lot of people is something that they could be afraid of. And that's why we wanted to introduce it and give you some insights on digital marketing. And along with that, Jimmy's, making available an opportunity for you to learn more about your digital marketing and what's available. I'm going to put it up on the screen and you can speak to it. Okay, Jimmy?
Sure, definitely. Thank you. And before I do that, just so you guys know, I actually have in my calendar once a week to learn, because you never stop learning. So even from a digital marketing standpoint, I have a number of blocked out times on my calendar. Some is in the week, most is on the weekend, and it's learn this tool, learn a tool around digital marketing. A lot of it is around digital marketing because our industry changes so much. So if you have to block out 1 hour a week just to train and learn something new about social media or some platform, and then after a while, you will get it. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a cool tip.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, definitely You got to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah. So in regards to what I would like to offer, I'm offering a digital marketing audit and a roadmap. And this is something I do on regular with my SEO clients, because this is a very SEO specific offer. So we're doing an initial website audit, which will show you any of your website errors, warnings, and notices. Some of them can be important, some of them can not be important, depending on, the type of errors they are. A competitor analysis, and this is based on up to 3 competitors. When we look at competitors, I look at competitors one of 2 ways: as true competitors that are kind of on the same level as you, maybe they're doing better than you. If they're not, if you're the top of the food chain, you need new competitors. So you need somebody that's doing something better than you, so you now have a benchmark. In addition to that, you want to look for an industry leader. An industry leader gives you the ability to look at what's possible. So if you're doing 500 searches a month to your website, visitors a month, or you're doing 5,000 visitors a month to your website, and your industry leader is doing 75,000 visitors a month to their website, that's inspiring. When they're a true competitor of yours, they're going after the same target audience, and now you can learn from what they're doing, so you can immediately point yourself in the right direction. I'll look at, you're going to give me some ideas of keywords that you'd like to rank for. We, through this, will modify that and go, you were right on, or those keywords weren't great keywords. Here are the great keywords you should be looking at. Now, we're also going to do topic research. Now, the topic research ideas are based on your industry niche and kind of like the key thing you do. That gives you an idea of what's going on in regards to topics and subtopics around things that you could possibly start talking about based on what people are actually searching right now on the internet. If you're a local-based business, we can do a local citation report and see, not only how many citations you have, meaning how many name, address, phone numbers you have across things like Google My Business, Bing, Yelp, all this. There's a lot of them that are industry specific. So if you're missing some, this report would tell you you need these citations as well. Go get them. And this one here is very, very custom to the business. It's an SEO roadmap for what's next. So based on how I read your reports and whatnot, I'll give you a handful of things that you can do immediately to start to either fix things on your website, or content that you should be looking at writing or having someone else write on your behalf to start getting deeper into the SEO game. And then the final thing is you'll get an actual 30-minute free consultation with me. You won't get anybody else, you'll get me. Okay. And so that value there is $397, and I'm giving it away for this month for $97. So there is a link on that slide, but I think Andrew is going to pop it into the chat box. So if you're interested, you're not paying now, you're just going to sign up, and we will contact you in the next 48 hours and get everything set up to do this audit. It takes about 7 days to get everything together. And then that 30-minute call is going to happen on the back end. So I can at least give you some insight on what I gave you, because, it still could be a bit daunting. So it's best to have someone explain to you, what is all these numbers and what does all this stuff mean? How can I take advantage of it?
Okay. No, great. Yeah, I did pop it into the chat. So, definitely you want to, catch him early. You want to catch him on the rise, because wait too long and you won't be able to afford him. That's why I got to working on my stuff now, because, he's doing great things. People are recognizing it, and, looking forward to seeing you continue to grow, continue to build your business, and continue to be successful and helping other people be successful. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Let me say one last thing real quick. I want everyone to know, I don't hard sell. I don't even soft sell. I just teach. So you don't, even after that, I'm not going to try to get you into anything, because I don't like that type of stuff. So just so you know, I want to put it out there that that's now how I operate. And that's what I love about digital marketing and inbound. When you do it right, people come to you.
Okay, excellent. So I couldn't have said it better myself. So thanks again for joining us tonight, Jimmy. thanks again for the audience and sharing and your comments and feedback. And, always love every Tuesday night, Leadership Live at 8:05. Every week we have a new special guest. This coming week we have Wallace Santos, the CEO of Main Gear, and he's going to talk about the right tech for the time. Things are changing, technology is changing. What type of tech should you have? For those of you who are not gamers or not in the gaming space, you probably don't know who Main Gear is. But if you are, or if you have kids who are, ask them who Main Gear is, because they're pretty much the top tier business gaming computer maker. They make their computers by hand, very high class, and ranging anywhere from $1,000 to $30,000 for your PC. So they do great stuff, and we're going to talk to Wallace. He started the company when he was really young and has a great story and a lot to share. So look forward to having him on next week, and wish you guys a happy week. And always remember, the more that you know, the faster that you grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.